going back to the kettlebells, all of those things I had to learn, all of those fucking steps in the Turkish getup, all of the reps where I smacked myself on the forearm with the snatch because I just couldn't figure out how to drive my stupid elbow back. They all prepared me to get to this moment. They all gave me little bursts of confidence, which has added up into something bigger. I'm a fucking dangerous woman, baby. Like, that never could have happened if I wasn't in front of obstacles where I really had to lift up my bootstraps and try to figure out how to overcome a challenge. I believe two things. Number one, we are all born with inherent self-worth. And number two, we do not all have confidence, because confidence is not something you were just given. It is something that you have to earn. When I reflect on myself, I believe I started becoming my most confident self when I started training with kettlebells. And it's not because of the kettlebell itself, it's because of the things I was trying to learn how to do with the kettlebell. I remember when I first got started, I was working at this boutique studio in New York City, and I totally BS'd my way into this job. And I needed to put kettlebell exercises into this training program. And meanwhile, all of the personal trainers that worked at this club had kettlebell certifications. They were either Strong First or RKC certified. And I remember one of them came up to me one day and was like, Colleen, we all know you have no idea what you're doing. Can I teach you? And I let him teach me. And he was teaching me how to do things that I knew nothing about. He was teaching me how to do Turkish get-ups and how to snatch a kettlebell. I thought you just use the kettlebell like you would a dumbbell. You do some squats, maybe some deadlifts, maybe we like swing it around our body. And that's like, if you know me, you know that's not a thing that I do. But I just didn't really understand. And I think many people will pick up a kettlebell and use it like a dumbbell, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what's so cool about what I learned to do was the fact that it was extremely technical. So in order to perform a particular exercise correctly, all of these things had to happen together. For example, I had to have the right tension, the right alignment, the right breath, the right speed. I needed to be able to connect with what is my body doing, and is my brain able to be there at the same rate. All of this stuff hand in hand is what helped me to be able to perform these exercises like Turkish get-ups, like single arm swings, like cleans. And at the time, I didn't really care about the benefits. Like, I didn't care about being stronger. I didn't care about using a kettlebell. Didn't care about potentially becoming more confident. Like, I just wanted to keep my job and make sure nobody went to my boss to be like, bitch has no idea what she's doing, get her out. So in the midst of learning all of this stuff, I became really connected to my body. And in being really connected to my body, I was able to do these intricate exercises. And if I'm being honest, I wouldn't say doing those exercises necessarily helped to build my confidence, but it was doing those exercises and then trying other exercises that I could never do before, that I was then able to do, that made me feel like, wow, I'm capable of a lot more than I'm giving myself credit for. And I slowly started to feel more confident. I remember one of the first things that like blew this feeling up for me was a pull-up. This trainer one day was like, hey, maybe you should consider putting pull-ups into the program. And at the time, I was really against putting anything in that I couldn't demonstrate myself. And I was like, no, I can't do that. And he was like, can you just try? Just like humor me and try. And I went to a bar and I could pull myself up, but I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like how the fuck is this possible? And he was like, Colleen, you've been doing all this work with the kettlebells. Your lats are finally turning on, your grip strength, your core strength, all of this stuff is working hand in hand. That's how you're able to do this. And I remember just thinking like, oh my gosh, wow, I can do a pull-up. I'm that bitch who can do a pull-up. This is so cool. And I remember in doing that, it inspired me to try going to this certification. And I went to this bodyweight certification. And I remember feeling so intimidated because it was like me, two other women, and like 30 dudes, and they were teaching like pistol squats and single arm push-ups and human flags and just stuff that felt so out of my league. And I remember like thinking maybe I should leave. But then I started thinking about that trainer who was working with me and was like, no, you're capable of this stuff. You can do it. And I just trusted and I stayed. And I remember getting a regressed version of my human flag that day. And if you don't know what a flag is, I want you to imagine somebody hanging on a pull-up bar. They're hanging vertically. A flag is when you're hanging horizontally. And in that moment, I was just like, holy fuck, like that's me? That is me. Wow. I'm doing something that once upon a time I literally thought was magic. I'm watching something where my boyfriend at the time, he could do this stuff and he could explain it to me, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. And those two moments were both really monumental, the pull-up and the flag, because I realized I'm really selling myself short. I am capable of more. The worst thing that's going to happen is you try to do something and you just fail. But that trainer knew I wasn't going to fail, and he knew I wasn't going to fail because I had been putting in the work, the right work to help me achieve those particular exercises. And I remember I started really thinking about that. And specifically, you have a goal and you just need to reverse engineer to figure out what the action plan is in order to achieve that. And that's what I started doing. I remember I was like, okay, I think I want to leave this job and I want to go and get a different job. I remember I was wanting to leave that job and find a different job where I could be doing more stuff virtually, like media-wise training. And I remember just thinking, hey, if that's what I want to do, these are the action steps that I need to take. Like they're going to hire somebody who has prior camera experience. So I started getting camera experience. They're probably going to hire somebody who is like really confident in their body. So I remember like the next time I went to a new gym to work, I was like, I want to be the instructor in the sports bra. Prior to that, I always had a tank top on, or I would have like a longer kind of a sports bra on. I was like, no, I want to be seen a particular way. I need to start showing up as this woman who is going to be the one to get these things that I'm trying to go after. And when I started thinking more from the mindset of you just have to reverse engineer it and then consistently take the action steps in order to make it happen, that's when things really started to happen. And I started gaining more confidence in myself that, yeah, I am capable of doing things that maybe I can't do right at this moment, but I will be able to so long as I put myself on the pathway to do it. And that's really just what started unraveling in my life and in my career. You know, when the pandemic hit, I was like, fuck, what do I do? I guess I'm going to go virtual. And I remember I hired a business coach and I reverse engineered, you know, what do I need to do in order to make people believe I am this kettlebell expert? So I started showing workouts and tutorials, and I started getting clients, and I would show client results. And then I created this course on how to perform these exercises. I started working different certifications in the kettlebell organization that I was a part of at the time. I started making connections with people, getting as much education, as much experience as possible. That's what then inspired me to write my book and eventually go after a Guinness World Record. I wanted to be that expert. So if I'm going to be an expert, what are all of these things that I need to start doing to actually become this? And all of those things that I had to do along the way, I was scared shitless about. I remember the first time I went to assist at a workshop, I was like, oh my gosh, do I speak up? Do I say anything? I'm like, I don't want to overstep and I don't want to say the wrong thing. And I remember by the end, I felt so good. Like, wow, I accomplished something that seemed kind of scary in the beginning, but I'm not scared anymore. I've done this once, I can do it again. And that's what then happened with the record. If you've heard me talk about my experience with Guinness, I kind of fucked up on the first one, which is why I went back in for a second attempt. And that first attempt was terrifying, but the second one wasn't scary because I already kind of knew what to expect because I had been in the process before. And I think sometimes we just don't realize how the stepping stones that we take in order to accomplish something bigger, they really add up. even if it doesn't seem like I have to do X in order to achieve Y, sometimes X is going to be what allows you to develop this new level of confidence that's going to make you show up for Y in such a bigger and bolder way. And it's through everything I've done up until this point where I've had the confidence to step into a completely different area of my career, which is creating the brand that is Phoenix Flex. That's creating the product, my product called Afterburn. It's been terrifying to start as the beginner because I've been in this kettlebell space, I've been in this trainer space, I've been in this fitness space for over 10 years, and it's not as scary anymore. But to go somewhere completely new, like over this past year, creating Afterburn, it has been scary because you just don't fully know what to expect. And along the way, I have gained confidence because I'm taking all of these small steps adding up to this launch. And I'm just so grateful for all of the lessons and the small steps along the way, because I know that without them, I wouldn't necessarily have had the guts to try this. And as I'm recording this, it's December 18th, 2024. I believe Afterburn has the potential to fucking crush it. But even if it doesn't, I'm just so proud that I was willing to take a chance on myself and follow my heart and follow something that I truly believe in, because I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have confidence in myself.
Are you ready to start building strength but feel overwhelmed by complicated workouts and influencers on social media? Foundations is your answer. If you're new to strength training and want a simple, effective way to get stronger, build muscle, and drop body fat, Foundations was designed just for you. What you'll need to get started are just 3 kettlebells. That's it. These 3 kettlebells are all you need to unlock your strength, start building muscle, and start seeing real results. There's no fancy moves, no complicated routines, just the basics that will help you to progress safely and confidently. What you'll get when you join: simple, proven exercises where you will master foundational movements like squats, deadlifts, and presses that will give you strength and confidence. A progressive training program, step-by-step video and written guidance to help you improve no matter where you are starting from. A safe, effective training routine. You'll get to focus on form and build a body that's strong from the inside out. And the best part, it's DIY. You can start right away, no waiting around. You just buy the program today and you get to start building strength from the comfort of your home. You don't need to be fancy to get strong. You just need a solid foundation and the right approach. Foundations is perfect for the woman who is new to strength training and wants to take it at her own pace. She wants to feel empowered, she wants to feel strong, and she wants to feel more confident in her body. If you're ready to begin, visit www.colleenconlon.com for more details and grab your Foundations program today. Again, all you need are 3 kettlebells. I'll take care of the rest.
And going back to the kettlebells, all of those things I had to learn, all of those fucking steps in the Turkish getup, all of the reps where I smacked myself on the forearm with the snatch because I just couldn't figure out how to drive my stupid elbow back. They all prepared me to get to this moment. They all gave me little bursts of confidence, which has added up into something bigger. I'm a fucking dangerous woman, baby. Like, that never could have happened if I wasn't in front of obstacles where I really had to lift up my bootstraps and try to figure out how to overcome a challenge. And what I'm able to give to women is learning how to gain confidence. This is one of the main reasons why my signature program, Swing to Snatch, is set up the way it's set up. Because I know what it takes to gain confidence. It takes hard work. It takes having a challenge and overcoming said challenge. I think there's a lot of programs out there where it's like, you know, do the workout, it's nothing super hard, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't believe everybody and their mother needs to learn how to snatch a kettlebell or learn how to do a Turkish getup. I think there's a lot of benefits from being able to do those exercises, but I don't believe everybody needs to be able to do them in order to have a strong, lean, confident, healthy body. But the women who come into that program, who are asked to learn how to do these things and are asked to do it with a particular weight, it is a fucking challenge. And I design it that way so that by the end, once they can do all of those things, they look back and they reflect, wow, look how fucking far I came. And I've run this program for 5 years now. Yeah, they've all come so far to get to that finish line, to learn how to do all of those little things like I learned how to do in the beginning. It builds this level of confidence. Challenge creates confidence. Without a challenge, when something is just handed to you, it doesn't make you feel like you had to rise. It didn't make you feel like you had to die to be rebirthed into something new. It feels easy. And confident people, I do not believe, think anything comes with ease. It comes with hard work and staying in the game and going up against challenges because you believe, hey, I've come this far. I believe I can take something else on and go a little bit further. And that makes me think of 2 women that I have worked with the kettlebell. And particularly, these women come to my mind because of the career shifts that they have taken because of the confidence that they have developed. So I had one woman who was in one of the first rounds of Swing to Snatch, and she, you would just watch someone talk, and you can instantaneously tell wow, they're full of life, or wow, they look kind of dead on the inside. She was somebody who looked dead on the inside. And as I got to know her, and even by the end of the program, she had shared that she was going through this program dealing with depression. And it showed. And when she had shared some of the things that she was going through, being in a toxic relationship and being at a job that was just not serving her. I mean, when there's jobs, there's careers. I believe the difference between a job and a career is a job, it's a job. You're just being paid for it. You show up, you go home. There's not a whole lot with it. Whereas if you have a career, it's this pathway where you want to develop it. It is something that you really believe in, you want to grow in. And she had a job. She was a bartender. And if you're thinking to yourself, maybe you are a bartender with this flourishing career, and if that is you, I love that. For her and where she was at, and from my perspective, it was a job, and it wasn't something that she wanted to continue doing. By the end of program, you know what she did? This is incredible. She said that she felt so much better about herself. She gained so much confidence that she wanted to be able to give that gift to other women. And she became a personal trainer, and she became a kettlebell coach. And I think that is one of the most incredible things, that she was able to go from somebody who was really struggling in the confidence category to jumping into a completely different way of life in order to give something that fed her so much. And I love that. And then I also start thinking about this other woman who I believe she was really passionate. I know she was really passionate about her career. And in the time that we spent together, she accomplished so much. Oh my gosh, this bitch. She learned all of these kettlebell things, right? And it was my first client. And I remember I knew a lot more about kettlebells than she did as I was coaching her, but she had such a drive where we were at very similar skill levels for a solid chunk of time. And I remember she would tell me some of these goals of hers, and I was like, fuck, okay, I need to figure out how to get her there. So a lot of times I would use myself as the guinea pig and figure out, is this gonna work for her? And she accomplished a lot. I accomplished a lot along the way. I remember she wanted to do this challenge called Simple and Sinister. She wanted to do Sinister, where you are swinging a 70-pound bell in one hand for 100 reps in 5 minutes, followed by doing 10 Turkish get-ups with 55 pounds. And when she said that's what she wanted to do, I was like, oh dear Lord. And it was kind of cool because it pushed me out of my comfort zone to do it, to figure out how am I going to get her to do it. But that was huge. I remember feeling so accomplished after I did that. And I remember just watching the look on her face, and she was just so in awe with herself. And it's again, those are the moments, overcoming a challenge, confidence is getting built. And then I remember I think sometimes I have to fact check myself, because I have some clients where everything is just so laser focused on the kettlebell and the work we do, and others where sometimes it just gets a little bit more gray lines what's the word I'm looking for? They get crossed over a little bit more. But I believe she was in a happy place with her job, but she just started getting really interconnected to the idea of helping having women and babies, and she was talking about going back to school to become a midwife, to become a doula. And she was like, yeah, I mean, I've like already been out of school for like 5 years, and I've been in this career traveling back and forth between the US and Africa for years at this point, but I just feel this call to do something more. She was actually on season 1 of The Dangerous Woman. It's Sophia that I'm talking about, and if you get a chance to listen to our conversation, I think this will hit even more for you. Regardless, it's a great conversation. She's an incredible woman, but she decided, I'm going to follow my passion. I'm going to go back to school, and I'm going to do something that is really allowing me to follow my heart. And I just think that's incredible. Like, the amount of people who just go to work and feel unfulfilled, it sounds terrible. And I get that sometimes that's just how life is. Like, maybe you have to go to the job because you need the money, and it doesn't matter what the fuck you're doing so long as you are getting paid the most for what it is you can offer as an employee. And I think of other people where it's like you're making so much money, but you just hate doing what you do. It's like the golden handcuffs. The money's great. You can go on the vacations, you can buy the things, but I think to not feel this sense of fulfillment for the work that you're doing, because you spend a lot of time working, right? In our adult life, maybe like from age 24 to when can you retire now? I don't even know. I'm going to just like throw out there 66. And if somebody wants to fact check me, let me know when you can actually retire. But that's a long amount of time. And to do something where you don't feel fulfilled because maybe you were just like not confident enough to change up doing what you were doing, that's sad. And why I share my story, why I share these two women is because I don't think any of us would have been able to accomplish what we have up until this point if it wasn't for taking the time to develop our confidence with that kettlebell. All to say, I think if you're at a crossroads in your life and you are thinking to yourself, I do want more, or I do want to do something different. I do want to do something where I feel like I'm following my heart or I'm taking a chance. I just feel this pull. Like, I don't think things just come to us out of nowhere. Like, hear me out on this. How many people do you think actually grow up wanting to be a professional basketball player? Like, for real, how many people do you think grow up saying, that's what I want to do? Like, I never thought that. I thought twice about that. And I don't know, maybe it's different if you ask somebody else, but I think we all have our dreams for a particular reason. And I think when our dreams become even more unique, it's like, wow, this is coming to me because it's meant for me. And I believe those of us who have developed our confidence enough are the ones who are able to go after that. And if you are somebody who wants to go after something, but you just feel a little bit too scared because you're not sure if you are capable of that, I'm here to tell you that yes, you are. And what you probably need is some time to develop your confidence. And listen, I know a great course, I know a kettlebell course where we can do that, but that's not the only place where you go to develop confidence. Again, in order to develop confidence, you just need challenge. So if you can find some serious challenges to take on, and you want to take on like challenges in a safe way where it's like, yeah, I am going to be successful. And I'm not trying to like pitch you on swing to snatch, but the reason this works so well is because yes, this is a challenge, but it is a challenge where you have a coach who is going to make sure you succeed so long as you show up and do the workouts. And it's been tested enough times at this point to prove that yes, this does work. So if you're trying to take on the challenge of like, I'm going to become fluent in French in 6 months, and you fail because you didn't hire the expert or because you just have no idea what you're doing and you're just taking on a challenge without an action plan, like that's not going to work. You need to find a challenge where there are action steps and a game plan and potentially a coach to help assist you along the way. When you do that, you start to build that confidence. And when you have that confidence, it can open up doors for you. If you do want to change your career, if you do want to follow your heart into something different, and it feels like you just don't have those wings ready to spread and try flying, you probably just need a little challenge first.
Thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, don't forget to leave a rating and review. Women are stronger together, so share this with a woman who you want to see rise. When we embrace positive takeaways, we level up, and when we share them, we change the world. Follow us on Instagram at The Dangerous Women Podcast and let us know what you want to hear next. And remember, dangerous women redefine wellness and the world. So be fierce, be authentic, be dangerous.